Tonight I am introducing 5 garden DIYs, not just any DIYs, high-end dupes with a botanical vintage cottage flair. I will also be sharing some home improvement tips with a surprise at the end. This is my room by room playlist, which I'll explain later. Welcome to my channel, Freckled Mom DIY. I'm Devin. If you're new, welcome. And if you're returning, hey! Let's spring right into these DIYs. This DIY was technically inspired by 2 different items that I saw for sale. This one was $4.96 and this one was $70. So we are going to be using some Club Couture transfers and a little galvanized bucket here. And this is a wooden sign I got from the Target dollar spot. So we're going to start by painting this with plaster. And I'm going in and I'm just doing like a stippling kind of pouncing motion to make it look kind of like cementy. So now I go through and I do the same little pouncing with my Waverly in Mineral. And I do that over the entire container. Now this one is Cashew. And I just wanted it to have like that old kind of feeling, you know. So here is a mold I got at Michael's and I'm just filling it with some hot glue. I waited for it to dry and I'm going to do all those same colors on this little flower. Now this is to look like that inspiration picture that I had. So again, it's just all those same colors, the plaster, the cashew, and the mineral. Now I do have a little bit of Deco Art Orange Flash and I'm just going over with a little bit of the sparkle. Now here is a Club Couture quote from Henry Thoreau. This is not supposed to be like legible, if that makes sense to you. Like I just wanted it to be the background, kind of like how a vintage kind of like postcard is. So I went through with my paste in the color Storm. I squeegee it on, I squeegee it off, and then I peel it up. I do put a piece of paper down just so I don't peel up the other paste that I already did. It was dry, but you guys know me. I always want to, be cautious. So I am just going along. I think it's coming out so sweet. So now I'm just going to do the name, Henry Thoreau, right at the end. Again, this is not so much so you can see and read what it is. It's just to have like that vintage feel. This is one of my French minis, which is super sweet. And I am going in with the smaller multi-tool. All the tools and the colors and the transfers I use, I'm going to put in my description if I can find them and they're still available for purchase. So now I'm going through with my top saying in Colonial Blue. This is going to be like a motivational sign. So I'm going to be walking by this every day. So I thought this would be nice to have a little motivation for myself, my husband, my kids. So it's Find Your Wild. And then I'm using a different transfer for a kitchen one that says open 24 hours. So, like always find your wild and be motivational. I then added the self-serve as, kind of like a reminder for self-love. And I just love how this came out. So now we're going to embellish it a little bit. So I hot glued that flower to the front and I used my antique wax and I just gave it a little bit extra distressing to make this look a little more vintage. And so far I am loving the cement look. I did add rope for a handle, although we're not going to be using it. It's just for looks. So I'm putting in some foam and some flowers and we're just going to give this that floral flair. These colors are so beautiful. I've used them in the past, but I'm really in love with this. And I am just sticking them in where I feel like it looks nice. I am so in love with this entire DIY. I love the cement look. I love the flowers. I love the saying. I love the colors. I just think this is such an amazing piece to walk by every day, and I think it is just super sweet and obviously way cheaper than that $400 and something. Let me know down in the comments what you think. So here was the one that looks cement and it was for $70, and this one was the one with the embellishment, and this one was a whopping $496. And here are my supplies that I used. A bunch of things, guys, and I definitely stayed under budget. and I am so in love with this. This is a very quick, easy DIY made from Dollar Tree products. And you could see I found it on Amazon for $30. It is so simple, guys. This is just a Dollar Tree jar, some lids, and some flowers and twine. So these lids I got in the kitchen section at Dollar Tree. I'm just replacing it. This with the wire, it just helps the flowers stand up a little bit. And it adds that little cottage flair. So here's just a tag I'm cutting down so it fits a little bit better. I have this twine and I just tie it around the rim, and I'm just trying to cover up as much as I can, but still leaving out some metal here and there. I tie a knot, and then I'm gonna put the tag right on that, and I'm just gonna loop it through a couple of times just so that way it's nice and secure. And then I have a little bead here, and I get my beads off of Amazon, and I just hot glued it onto the twine just so it's secure. I cut off the end, and I do that for 2 different balls. And then I have these beautiful flowers. I think I got these at Walmart, and then I'm just going to embellish it with a little bit of flowers from Dollar Tree and from Michael's. And then I just have some random leaves I'm sticking in just to add a little more flair. And I think this is so pretty. So I took a little antique wax and a baby wipe, and I just went over those wooden beads. And how adorable is this? I mean, my goodness, for $30, what Amazon wanted, I made this with just a couple of dollars. And I think it is so beautiful, so garden farmhouse, and so cottagey, and it looks beautiful sitting on my windowsill. Stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share with you how I redid this windowsill and my beautiful vintage window. Here is my inspiration, and I love it. I think it is so pretty, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, guys, but I'm pretty impressed what I did with some Dollar Tree stuff. That is beautiful. It is gorgeous. I'm really proud of myself. Let me know down in the comments what you think about that flower. As I mentioned, this is an open playlist room by room, my monthly recurring challenge where we are to create 3 to 5 DIYs. The theme tonight is high-end dupes, and my co-host is my lovely friend Megan from the Crafty Quinn. I love her channel and her high-end farmhouse DIYs, so make sure you check her out if you haven't done so already, and follow along the playlist to see what all my friends are creating. On my channel, we do a lot of Dollar Tree crafts, DIY, gifts and decor, thrift flipping, and more. If you like these kinds of videos, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. You can also find me on Instagram as Freckled Mom. Now let's get back to these DIYs and stay tuned for a little surprise at the end. I have been dying for some floral art pieces like this. The botanicals are so beautiful, and my inspiration was $300. I took some canvases, and we are going to take off the actual canvas, and so I'm just using a razor blade. I'm cutting it away, and now I'm just going to cut the canvas down to size, and you can see we're making a reverse canvas. I take my antique wax and a baby wipe, and I just go over all 3 of these wooden frames, and we are going to make some artwork. So here is a beautiful Chalk Couture transfer. I am defuzzing it as they are new. I lay down my canvas, and then I lay down my transfer, and I have a few colors I'm working with for this project. The yellow is Bumblebee. You can see that blue over there, Colonial Blue. I have my green is a eucalyptus, and I think all these colors together were very springy and very botanical, garden farmhouse, and you can see I am just piecing together transfers. That is the joy of Chalk Couture. You can take one transfer from one package, another transfer from a different package. You can move them around. As you can see, I am changing up where the words went, and I think these are so beautiful, so vintage looking, and I think it fits very well with the theme I'm going for. As you can see, I scrape on the paste, and then I scrape off the paste, and then I peel it up. And that is it, guys. Chalk Couture has so many different styles and beautiful transfers, and this one is one of my favorites. I'm super excited because they have a lot of new transfers coming out this spring, so definitely stay tuned. If you are interested in Chalk Couture, check out my links in my link tree. And now all I'm going to do is hot glue that, guys. That's it. I hot glued it on, and you saw how quick and easy that was. And like I said, my inspiration was $304. I think this is beautiful. It looks vintage. It's botanical. It has that garden farmhouse theme that I'm going for. And of course, you guys saw I literally spent $3 on some canvases, and I already had these transfers from Chalk Couture. So I really didn't spend too much, guys. So I am 100% telling you guys to go out and make some dupes. Like, really, just find some pictures on the internet and look what you have at home and try to recreate it. This one was so much fun. Oh my goodness. So I had found this candlestick at a thrift store, and I had been looking at these candlesticks for home decor. So I got it for $2.99, and that is just a lid to a candle. So first I'm just cleaning it up, and I am using my heat gun and some sharp tools, and I am just getting off all the wax. So I'm using all the same colors and the same techniques I did on my first project. So I am doing like a dotting kind of stippling effect, and I do it with my plaster, my cashew, my mineral, and I'm just going back and forth. And then when I feel like I went too heavy, I go back with my plaster and I do it again. And this time it kind of gives me that like cement kind of feeling, but not really, you know what I mean? So here is my antique wax, and I just love the way it came out. It is so sweet, and I do put it a little heavier on the bottom there, and I didn't really like that, so I went back and I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I just use a little hot glue, not so much for security, just to hold it on so it didn't fall off. And then I have a bunch of Dollar Tree stuff and those flowers I was using in my earlier project, so everything matches. And I'm just gonna hot glue everything together the best I can. And we're gonna try to make just a little floral piece to sit on top, but something that I can swap out. So when I wanna change up the colors, I can just pick this up and lift it off and add something else. And I think this looks so old, so distressed. I'm really impressed with my distressing on this, guys. I think this goes so well with my garden farmhouse theme I am going with this spring. I hope you guys enjoy it because I will be doing some more coming up in future videos. I just think this is so pretty, guys, and for my inspiration to be so expensive for $151 for 6 of them, I have one right here. And I think it's beautiful, guys. Let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite when you're done watching this video. This, I don't know if it's a doghouse or a birdhouse, but I think it's adorable. I had found my inspiration as a bungalow birdhouse. You guys know we are very close to the beach. I try to stay with my nautical themes. I love the wood on this. It was so sturdy. So I went through with my mineral, and then I go through with my plaster, and I am not being super careful with my painting because I want it to be like chippy and messy and old and just beautiful. So I do have 2 colors that I mixed here. This was a summer sky and a timeless gray, both from Apple Barrel. And I just mixed it in with a little bit of plaster chalk paint to give it that chalk paint feeling. And then I distressed it with a little bit of mineral paint, and that's it, guys. I think this was such a quick filler. Like, this was something just to kind of throw in between other DIYs. I think it's very vintage, very old, and I just think it's so sweet. And of course, you guys know I love my dogs. So here is my inspiration picture, and I love the colors. I love the antique feeling, but I wasn't going to spend $61. So here is my little thrift flip, and I am so happy how it turned out. And I just love it, guys. I think it was so easy, and I think it's so sweet. I'm going to share with you guys some home improvement tips. Don't forget, I live in a house that is built in 1925. It is super old, and I'm gonna share with you what I did to fix this window. This old frame window, this is a super old window. I do not want to replace the window, but I do want to replace the wood as much as I can. I am not a carpenter. I don't pretend to be one, but I do watch a lot of carpenter videos on YouTube. So wish me luck, and let's see how this gets done, guys. First, we're chipping away all the paint, and I will share with you what I'm going to keep doing as we go through what works and what doesn't work. So I started with this Minwax wood hardener just to give the wood a little bit extra strength. And so I just poured it into a cup, and I used a little foam brush, and I just made sure I got into all the crevices. Now you can see this was in really, really bad shape, guys. I scraped off so many layers of paint, and you can see here that when I did that, it left a lot of seams. And this is a corner that always leaks because we have like these arches in our roof. So I'm hoping to fill this in, and you're gonna see, but let's see how if it stays waterproof. So this was something I saw on the video, and so now I am going through and I'm just peeling off the old caulking. So the old caulking was white, and I don't know why, if we did that or somebody else did it, I don't know. So I went and got some ultra clear caulking, and my husband helped me, and we are just putting the clear caulking in. The window was actually moving, like you could feel it moving because I chipped out all that caulking that's been there since 1925. So I was a little nervous that I was going to ruin this window. And obviously I do not want to ruin this window because I love it so much. And then I am deciding what colors for it, guys. I really wanted a blue, like a crazy blue. I don't know, but I got this paint. It's a Sherwin-Williams paint, Anchors Away. So I have wood filler. I'm not a fan of this. It has an epoxy with it. I did not show you guys, but I did do the wood filler wherever I felt it needed it in those creases. It did well in the creases, but it didn't do well on this board right here. And then we had this light here. It had been knocked over many times from children. We had replaced the light itself. The light itself is new from Home Depot. So my husband fixed that. I did one coat here on the shelf and on the window of that blue I got, and it looked very bright. This is the second coat. I was feeling a little bit better at this point. It definitely was nerve-wracking, guys. So I went through and I ended up doing 3 coats. Some places I did 4 coats, and then I touched up our wall paint, and then I went through and I touched up the ceiling as well, just because, like I said, it had leaked previously, so there was some watermarks. And I am going to be featuring the feature wall in another video coming up next week, which is an open playlist. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you are inspired and you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I am so in love with all these dupes. I am super amazed that I was able to get so close to the original while still sharing my style and staying under budget. I am really excited for spring and introducing the garden farmhouse into my home, and I am just so happy because we have a lot of home improvement projects coming up. So if you enjoy these kinds of videos, go ahead and hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. A big thank you goes to my friend Megan from the Crafty Quinn for co-hosting tonight. You can find her link as well as the playlist link down in my description. Follow along and see what everyone else will be inspiring you with tonight. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook as Freckled Mom. I have a link to all my supplies in my Amazon store down below. You can also find my link tree where I have my link for all my chalk supplies. And don't forget, if you want to save 40%, you can join my team, send me a message, and we'll get started. Stay tuned for a commercial for my next video. Stay tuned on Saturday. I'm going to be releasing a new video, first one of the series where I am highlighting local businesses and artists, and who else better to kick off this new series than my good friend Velma. Thelma is inviting you into her home on Saturday night for some DIY fun, and I cannot wait to share with you all the fun we had. Thank you for watching, keep crafting, and I will see you on Saturday.